but behind closed doors I'm a fool for your love.
Good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been quite some time since I last posted a video. Since the GTC video, I've actually moved house, started playing golf, but also prepared a lot of very exciting opportunities for this year. So then guys, what better way to start off the year than with a review of the all-new CLS. But it's no run-of-the-mill CLS. This is the all-new CLS53 4-door coupe. Now, this has been completely redesigned. You'll remember the old CLS, and there was no 53 model, but the old CLS has the same shape, but everything about this car is completely different. Okay, so after reviewing the E53, I thought, wow, what a great car, what a great introduction to the AMG family, an entry-level car that is well priced. It's not going to cost you a fortune like the full-blown 63 model. I thought, you know what, I don't know if it can get better than this. And then they brought out this. Now, I've got to be honest, the new CLS in the standard model variant doesn't really do it for me. Not saying it doesn't look good, because it does. I like it. However, when I saw the 53 for the first time, I just thought, wow, that is the one. It's a coupe. It's got those nice sleek lines, drops off at the back, but it's 4-door, so you still have the benefit of carrying other passengers. And then the look of it, it's got the new EQ technology. I just don't know if it can get much better than this. So today, I am very, very excited to review this car. Let's just see what happens. Here it is then guys, the AMG CLS53 4-door coupe. Now this does share the same engine as the E53 that I reviewed originally, and that is a 3-litre straight 6 bi-turbo, and it also has an electrically operated compressor which gives you a temporary boost of 22 miles an hour. So it reduces any turbo lag, and what I'm really interested in today is seeing how differently this engine performs in this car in comparison to the E53. Now I will obviously come to the power output, because that's something that I always like to start with. So starting externally, the paint finish on this is Designo Diamond White Metallic, which is an £895 cost option. The standard paint is Polar White, but when the sun's shining on this, it looks fantastic. Alloys are the AMG twin 5-spoke 20-inch diamond cut and gloss black alloys. Standard wheels that come with it are 19-inch, but these look lovely with the AMG night package that also has black wing mirrors, black alloys, all ties in against the white really well. Premium Plus pack, so again, thermistor sound system, electric memory seats, with 3 different positions, which will save the seating position, steering wheel position and the wing mirror position on the driver's side, and then obviously the passenger side is just the seat. one thing that I am disappointed by, and I don't know if it's the shape of the car, so if someone does know the answer to this question, then feel free to correct me, but the previous CLS had a sunroof. Now I get that because it was a slightly older model and it came out 2014 from memory. I actually expected that in this car they would make that a panoramic roof. They haven't. It's nice that it has a sunroof, but a panoramic roof in a car of, this sits between E-Class and S-Class, a panoramic roof would have been a nice touch. Now, like I say, it might be due to the body shape, I don't know, but the fact that they've still remained with a sunroof in this car, it is what it is, but for me I was a little bit disappointed by that. The open pore ashwood trim in this car though, however, is stunning. I've only ever seen it in black. This is a grey. I'm not sure of the correct term, whether it is just open pore ashwood in grey, could well be, but it looks really, really nice. So I was very impressed by that. Against the 64 different colours that you have to choose from on the ambient lighting, it sets it off very well. Widescreen cockpit. All of these little things now are becoming the norm with Mercedes. You look at the new A-Class MBUX, incredible. I've actually got an A-Class myself, and the technology in that is mind-blowing. Some of the things it can do is very, very impressive. So widescreen cockpit now is something that we'll be very familiar with. Doesn't mean to say that it's not impressive, because it is. These two displays just look fantastic, and the amount of customization involved around it, what you can do, is brilliant. So yeah, that's all fairly basic stuff. Now let's talk about the CLS itself. So this car is probably my favourite. Now I know that's a big thing to say, because actually before this, the E63S that I reviewed was incredible. I was just so impressed with it, how it handled, the comfort of the performance seats, because that was something that I was a little bit concerned about. I thought they might be quite firm. But actually driving this, though it's an entry-level AMG, it ticks all the boxes for me. The look of it externally is just so aggressive. The amount of people that turn their heads at this car just because it looks that good. And then you jump inside, and one thing that I was a little bit unsure of was whether the noise would be enough to put a smile on my face. The first video I did was the E53, and the fact that you can't actually spec a performance exhaust on that car, it's a sports exhaust they refer to it as, meant that you didn't have the option to turn the exhaust on and off, and I wasn't sure whether you'd get enough out of it. But actually, even in Eco, in this car, there's still a little bit of a groan to the exhaust, and in Sports Plus you get these lovely pops and crackles, and through the gears it just makes, I can't explain the sound, but it just makes a lovely, there's a nice deep tone, and it just sounds so good. Just found this bridge, so it seemed necessary to give it a little bit of a surprised me the most was, I've obviously been playing around with the modes. Eco mode, like I say, you still get a little bit of a nice sound from the exhaust and the engine, which I think is quite nice, because we've all done it. We've driven a car in Eco, and it's just a little bit like, there's not much from it. You don't get much excitement, and then obviously you put it into your sport and your Sports Plus and your race modes, and that's where you get the enjoyment out of it. But a little bit of noise from the Eco side of it is great, but the one thing that did surprise me is the steering is still very stiff, and I don't actually find that unpleasant. It's quite nice that it's still quite a firm steering wheel. In other cars I've driven, it becomes very soft and very light, whereas in this car I I don't know if it is something to do with the wheels, because obviously they're 20-inch low profile tyres. It becomes very firm, and yeah, I quite like that, so nothing wrong with that at all. CLS is, the design has remained the way it is, the body shape is still the same as on the previous generations, but there's no seal around the top of the window on the doors. And driving down motorways, dual carriageways, I actually thought I had the window slightly ajar earlier when I noticed it for the first time, but unfortunately it is wind noise. So I was a little bit disappointed by that, because if you're doing a long journey in this car, everything is almost, you know, perfect. You've got heated seats, it's comfortable, the technology, and then you have a little bit too much road noise there for me. So I was a little bit disappointed by that, but that's a little thing, you know. It's down to the design of the car. There's no seals at the top. Naturally, it's going to be louder. So let's talk about the power output, because, you know, that is something that I usually start with. So the 0 to 60 in this car is 4.5 seconds. Now that's a similar sort of speed to the Jaguar F-Type Coupe. So I'm in Sports Plus, we'll drop down. Now for anyone that weren't to know that this is an entry-level AMG, you'd think it was a 63 from that sound. I could not believe the noise it made. I was a slightly biased opinion, because I was expecting the same that I had in the E53. But this, just completely different, completely took me by surprise. And it just, the gear change, the noise it makes just sounds phenomenal. And it handles so well. I don't know, I haven't actually found out the correct terminology and what this feature is, but on the braking, you almost have to teach yourself how to brake, because the car actually brakes for you, so you don't actually have to apply as much on the brake pedal as you think. So that took me by surprise to begin with. But yeah, like I say, the fact that even in other modes, if we drop down to comfort, your default mode, even in that, the steering wheel is still fairly firm, and it's nice. You just feel like you have so much control of the car, because the steering isn't light and, you know, it doesn't wallow around. So 435 brake horsepower out of this, as I've just mentioned, and ultimately all of that power goes to the rear wheels of this car. However, it does have an all-wheel drive system. It's not, unfortunately, something that you can adjust, i.e. you can't lock out the rear differential and drive it like you can in the E63 as a full rear-wheel drive car. But it's quite intelligent in the sense that if the car senses that the rear wheels are starting to slip, it then relocates that power to all four wheels. So it's a system that's adapting all the time, and it's very clever in the way that it works. It is a little bit of a shame that you can't lock out the rear differential, but we're talking about an entry-level AMG, so there are going to be certain things that you do get and certain things that you don't. Other things to talk about: AMG Performance steering wheel in Napa leather. Again, flat on the sides, flat on the bottom, something that again we're becoming very familiar with now. It was originally brought out in the S-Class last year, and then slowly it's been introduced into all of the new models. So really, I guess it's a fairly standard design of steering wheel now, but even though this one's flat on the sides, flat on the bottoms, in any of the other models that I've seen this steering wheel in, it looks very sporty, very futuristic. You've got your touch pads on either side of the steering wheel. One controls the main screen, one controls your speedometer, and there's so many different things you can do there. Cruise control used to be on a stalk, no longer. It's on this side of the steering wheel, right hand side of the steering wheel, and that is something I use a hell of a lot. It's just so nice just having it on the steering wheel there, and you can flick up and down. this is the car that I would, if I had the money right now. And the starting price for this car, by the way, is around 72,000. So by no means could I afford one. However, if I could, if I had that sort of money, this car it surprised me so much. It's a little bit of me. There's something about this car that I just love. I love the way it looks. I love the way it drives. The things I was concerned about, i.e. the exhaust, it's there. The noise it makes, the handling of it. There's just not really anything other than the little bit of wind noise that I've mentioned already. There's not really anything that I'm disappointed about with this car. So the other thing that I've been working on, it's been a couple of months, unfortunately, since the last video, and I've been doing a lot in the background, and we're actually, I say we because myself and James, who's the other guy that's been helping me with the videos, he emailed a GT4 race team, who Sandown sponsor, and Protechnika Motorsport is who I'm talking about. We went to Autosport International last week, and we actually met the team principal for Protechnika and proposed a few ideas, obviously all based around YouTube, no cost involved. So we're going to be doing a series on this channel with Protechnika, following their progression throughout the year, pre-season, and also when the race calendar starts at Oulton Park in April. The other thing as well is there's so much product this year that's coming through. We've got so many different cars that we're going to be able to review, and it's so exciting. The three that I can think of that are very, very close to being with us: GT63 4-door, huge. GLE, the new GLE looks incredible, and the A35, which is coming in sunbeam yellow. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share, like, comment. If there's anything you want to see, then leave a comment below, because completely open to ideas, and we want to give you guys what you want to see. So any suggestions on models? I think the next one, just because of not having anything else, or any of those ones I've spoken about here yet, the next one is going to be the facelift C63, and it's in Magno selenite grey in an estate. That car looks incredible. So stay tuned for that. I hope this review helps. I really can't come up with any negatives about this car, other than the slight bit of wind noise from the window. Otherwise, handling exceptional. The sound, considering there's no performance exhaust option, puts a smile on my face. Happy with that. And all round, I think it just looks like a fantastic car. And credit again to Mercedes. Good job.
She's seeking validation. She's so tired